Let us gather. We gather here today in the name of and in the presence of all that is holy, known by so many names, none of which we can fully know nor understand. We open our hearts into this moment as we gather to give thanks for the life of Brenda Viswanathan Parker, who came to earthly life in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, on November 27th, 1970, and departed on August 3rd, 2021, in Deerfield Beach, Florida, after she traveled with us here far too briefly for 50 years. It is in her memory that we join together, and for her life that we are grateful. And though she has gone from this place, we trust that beyond absence there is presence, that beyond pain there can be healing, that beyond the brokenness there can be wholeness, that beyond anger there may be peace, that beyond hurt there may be forgiveness, that beyond silence there may be the word, that beyond the word there may be understanding, and that beyond and through understanding there is love. Let us enter into this time of remembrance with joy and gratitude befitting so remarkable a person as Brenda, and a life so lovingly lived as hers. For while she surely would insist that we miss her, she would also ask that our time together in her memory be one of celebration and wonder, as we can well imagine her lilting voice lifting these words from the poet Pascal Richardson. to those I love. If I should ever leave you whom I love to go along the silent way, grieve not, nor speak of me with tears, but laugh and talk of me as if I were beside you there. I'd come, I'd come, I'd find a way. But would not tears be grief and be barriers? And when you hear a song or see a bird, one I loved, please do not let the thought of me be sad, for I am loving you just as I always have. You were so good to me. There are so many things I wanted still to do, so many things to say to you. Remember that I did not fear. It was just leaving you that was hard to face. We cannot see beyond, but this I know. I loved you so. 'Twas heaven here with you. It is in Brenda's honor that we light our chalice this morning, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, with this charge from the philosopher Dag Hammarskjöld. Each day, we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and to give back. The great author, Edith Wharton, said there are two ways to spread light in the world. One to be the candle, the other the mirror that reflects it. Brenda was a brilliant candle shining upon our lives, and she had the capacity to turn anyone she met into a mirror of her light, even if they resisted. We light this candle of remembrance to honor the light Brenda's life has been to ours. A butterfly lights beside us like a sunbeam. And for a brief moment, its glory and beauty belong to our world, but then it flies on again. And though we wish it could have stayed, we feel so lucky to have seen it. Dear ones, we gather with the friends and family and loved ones of Sivabrunta Brenda Viswanathan Parker. Not only to grieve her passing, as all who love her should and must, but to cherish and celebrate her life. Today we honor her accomplishments, commend her character, and hold in our hearts the love that bound her to all of us. And it is through this love that beats through our hearts together in this moment that Brenda will live forever. We can't be sure what happens beyond the life we know here on earth. Throughout history, human beings have devised various and sundry theories and theologies for the question, what happens next? A wise one has said that the very definition of religion is our human response to the dual reality of being alive and knowing we must die. And so it is that we give ourselves to living as well as we can, loving as deeply as we can, for as long as we can. For it is both the love we give and the love we inspire that carries on after the human flesh departs. And through this love, Brenda lives on, even beyond our earthly sight. This is not to say that sorrow does not walk with us today and will for the time to come. Okay, Brenda.
Brenda is entering.
Okay, we got you. But in the words of the great theologian A. Powell Davies, I see her sitting at the piano on a Sunday morning, laughing with her eyes while we figure out what comes next. In the words of the great theologian A. Powell Davies, and Gabriel the Dachshund. We must be honest with death. Let us be honest. Let us not pretend that it's less than it is. It is separation. It is sorrow. It is grief. It is pain. But let us neither pretend that death is more than it is. It is not annihilation. As long as memory endures, Brenda's presence will be felt. This is not an end to love. Humanity's need for love from each of us is boundless. It is not an end to joy and laughter. Nothing would less honor Brenda in this moment. Let us be honest with death, for in that honesty we may understand life better and ourselves more deeply. So no, we can't know for sure what comes next. But this we do know for sure, that Brenda's love and kindness and humor and beauty and her immense compassion and her music remain with us, a tensile thread between our hearts, a gateway between worlds, and a window into that somewhere over the rainbow. We will begin this morning's remembrances with Brenda's mom, Ronnie.
Hi, dear friends and family members. Thank you for being here to participate in Brenda's memorial service and taking time to be with us. I am Devagi Rani Goindusamy, Brenda's mom, also known as Rani in short. Brenda is one of a kind. She followed her heart. She knew her own mind. Each smile that she shared, each dream that she pursued was telling the world her unique story. Time has a way of moving quickly and catching us unaware of the passing years, especially when we keep ourselves busy by doing the things that needs our attention and love. Brenda grew up so fast. She accomplished many of her dreams by the age 30. She became a professional pianist and violinist, being very happy working in well-known hotels in Malaysia. A piano teacher in Malaysia were Judy So, Penny Kam, Henry Kam, Wai Fong, Ricky Wee. Brenda's violin teacher was the late Andrew Chai. I extend my grateful thanks to all of them. Brenda's love for music was influenced by her dad, Viswanathan Kusami. His love for music in Western classical music when he started studying and worked in England. In USA, she worked in Bravo Academy of Music in Boca Raton, Florida, teaching piano and violin to young children. Later, she gave private lessons to children at their homes. She was a pianist at River of Grass Unitarian Universalist congregation on Sundays. Brenda was very happy there. It was like belonging to a large family that was caring and loving. During weekdays at night, she worked at La Viandros, it's a French restaurant, as a pianist. On Saturday nights, she was a pianist at an Italian fine dining restaurant. Besides this, she also played at weddings and birthdays for friends who invited her. Brenda was a very enterprising girl, a very independent person financially. She is also a music publisher and did her own arrangements that people bought. Her students loved her and her friends were very loving to her as well. Brenda was a good cook. She only cooked special dishes. For example, stir-fried flat noodles known as kway teow in Malay cuisine. She made some remarkable beads bracelet that sometimes took her 5 hours to complete. She loved to draw and drew many drawings of her pet cat, Gabriel. Brenda was soft-hearted. She cared and thought a lot about the less fortunate, especially the homeless. She often stopped by the roadside to give money to them to have a proper meal. She was thoughtful about neighbors who worked on shift duties in our condo building. She made sure she practiced a violin at parks and practiced piano after 9 a.m. Brenda never played piano after 9 p.m., so she didn't disturb the neighbors. She was a woman who followed her own star, and she's loved for her kindness and for her love for humanity. Brenda's sense of humor was admirable. From the time she was a little girl, she has brought joy and laughter into our lives. When she was 3 years old, she fractured her arm and was in a plaster cast for 4 months. When the plaster cast was removed on the 4th month, she wanted her arm to be tied up again as before. That was hilarious. She was very caring and loving towards all animals. Both Nitila and Brenda were caring towards animals, and they really had nice, memorable times with them. They loved them dearly and cared for them. They took numerous photos with them, and it was especially during the playtime. Besides this, they had rabbit, guinea pigs, and dogs, 4 dogs. They were their pet during their childhood times. Her late pet was Gabriel, whom she adored dearly and grieved for several months, even during her suffering from cancer, ovarian cancer. And she was grieving for Gabriel, and the grave was behind our condo backyard. One of Brenda's greatest pleasures was dressing up fashionable evening gowns. She used to walk like a model in front of me and wanted me to select the best gown for her evening piano playing performances. Now I'm missing you, my sweet Brenda. Sweet, cherished memories of you will keep me close to you. Friends and family will revive loving memories of our loving being.
Ronnie wishes to close this way. Now I am missing you, my sweet Sigabrunta. Sweet cherished memories of you will keep me close to you. Friends and family will revive loving memories of a loving being called Brenda. Shine on, baby. Shine on. We will take a moment here to breathe together as we prepare to receive Natila's remembrance of her sister, her little sister, Brenda, which we have in a montage form here for you in just a second here.
Brenda was very in tune with the Unitarian principles and did everything she could do to help people. She loved animals. She stopped by the roadside once to rescue a kitten thrown out of a car and called the police. She helped a crab cross the road so it wouldn't get crushed and carried a tortoise lying upside down beside the road to put it by the water. She would even rescue lizards and bees along the condominium veranda. Brenda took a sick feral cat to the vet once and felt sad for days when it passed away. Once she caught a rat and took it to some bushes far away to release it. Her own cat, Gabriel, was a rescue kitten that was crying on a rainy night by the roadside. Brenda's hobby was drawing cat pictures. Brenda also liked cooking and did home science at school. I'd wait by the school gate in anticipation of what came for me at the end of our school day. She liked traveling and discovering new places. She went to Thailand, Papua New Guinea, England, Australia, Indonesia, and to the palace in Malaysia. She took her piano and violin studies seriously and started learning at age 6 and would practice up to 6 hours a day. She got her love of music from her father when he studied in England, especially classical music and Rodgers and Hammerstein, and became a teacher in her early 20s. Brenda performed in 5-star hotels like Hilton and Swiss Garden Hotel in Malaysia and performed at the British Council for a musical. Brenda also performed at private functions and was asked by singer Connie Francis to perform at Connie's birthday and also for famous Malaysian actress Nur Komalasari. Brenda attained her qualification as a teacher and performer from the Trinity College of Music in London. We went together to collect her certificate. Brenda came to the US in 1988 and became a US citizen more than 10 years ago. Brenda had a great sense of humor and loved making funny faces to send to me, and I would send her my funny faces too. Brenda loved dressing up and was always beautifully presented. She liked to read books on psychology and would help counsel friends who phoned her in times of trouble even though she herself had her own problems. We will greatly miss her company.
We know that no one person can sum up the life of another. Life is too precious to be contained with mere words. Rather, it must remain as it is remembered by those who loved and watched and shared. For such memories are alive, unbounded by the events of birth and death. It is within each of you that the living memories of Brenda are forever etched. And so we have made a way here for some whose lives have been interwoven with Brenda's to bring her to us in the stories we share. In a moment, we'll go to gallery view and we'll ask you to use the raise hand button on Zoom so we can find you for you to share a story of Brenda. But first, we will begin with this video message from Natila's husband, Andy, in Australia.
As I say goodbye to Brenda today, my sister-in-law, I recall my strongest memories of her, her sense of humour, her cheeky smile and comments, her incredible talent as a musician, but most of all her kindness and thoughtfulness. She was always so sweet to me. Together with her sister, my wife, we had some truly great times and holidays together, which were always fun. She would think of others and always put them first, and for us, when we visited her in the US, she went to great lengths to look after us, cooking for us, taking us to all the different places to visit, and again, all those times with great humour and patience. I will truly always remember those times, and I will miss Bren a great deal.
All right, beloveds. Let us remember Brenda in the stories that we share, and if you wish to just remain here in the moment and listen, that is beautiful too. If you would like to share, please raise your hand, and then when we call on you, please tell us who you are and how Brenda came to your life. Zoom folks, help me spot because I can't see all the screens at once. Oh, I see Georgette and Ed. Go ahead.
We are honored to be here and to be friends of Brenda Parker's. We love her so much, and she's such a special person that just getting to know her, it was a blessing. If she was going to do a service and we gave her music that she didn't know, she would study it until she got it perfect. So that's part of her giving and loving, and her beautiful soul we will remember for the rest of our lives.
Ian, go ahead and unmute. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Ian, could you unmute? Thanks.
Okay. Already? Yeah. Okay, Brenda, I had met Brenda in Pompano Beach. She was playing at Frank's, and when I heard her play, I was just awed by her talent and her beauty and grace, and I ran into, well, of course, I went up afterwards and said how wonderful she was playing and got to introduce myself to her. And then our paths crossed again off of Oakland Park and Federal Highway. She was playing at a little kind of tea room restaurant. And I said, that girl is amazing. And I have to have piano lessons from her. And that's how our friendship started. I started taking piano lessons and we just became great friends. I had the pleasure of teaching her how to swim in Pompano Beach. Boy, did we have a lot of laughs doing that. But her kindness and her beauty and grace and was just so special. I brought her, at the time I was going to a large church in Fort Lauderdale, and she came to church with me, and I introduced her to some other people, and we all became friends, and we just had a lot of special times together. And one time she said she's going to go back to visit her family in Malaysia, and I kind of invited myself, but we had the time of our lives. We really had some special times. Rani picked us up at the airport, and I was so blessed to meet her. She's such a special, sweet lady. And she picked us up and she said, "What do you want to do, Anne?" And I said, "I want to feed the monkeys." So we went and fed monkeys, and we got chased by a monkey. And Brenda was holding the video camera, and I was going to take a picture of the monkey at the top of the railing, but some kids cornered the monkeys and we were at the bottom. And so we laughed. Roundy was in the car. The monkey literally chased us. All we saw is his teeth, and the video camera, when we played it back, was all we could hear was laughing, and the video showing the ground, and jumped into Randy's car. But I had the pleasure and the honor to just travel with her, and we went to Singapore and Thailand, and we just, she turned me on to Indian food. We went to Punjab a couple times, and but she was more than a piano teacher. She was just a really special, close friend. And although we had lost, hadn't talked to her in a while, we had a little girl and we were raising, but we would always catch up, and in between of the light busyness of life. And I just wanted to honor her today and always, and she'll always be in my heart. And thank you for having the opportunity to speak today, and she'll be missed dearly. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Diane Lade. And then Lydia after Diane.
Obviously, so many things to say and so many beautiful ways to remember her. And I was trying to pick, just picking one is so hard. Mm-hmm. But I would say that I would especially always remember her for her kindness. She radiated kindness and practiced it. And I guess I'll just mention there was a time I knew her. I knew, of course, through our Unitarian Universalist, our River of Grass congregation, and I was a member of the choir. And so she obviously would be playing at service and worked with us, sometimes rehearsing pieces. And I am a not so good and very nervous singer. And one Sunday morning, she came across me huddled in the bathroom at church, holding up my cell phone and listening to the recording and singing in the bathroom, trying to get it right. And she came over and hugged me. Then she was laughing and she said, you don't have to sing in the bathroom. It's okay if you want me to stay a little bit after church sometime, and you can practice the little pieces, the little parts that you're worried about. And I thought that was such a kind thing to do. And sometimes she would give me a little bit of extra time, and she was always very busy on Sunday mornings. So I just thought I would share that memory. And also, David and I would like to offer these flowers in her memory. She was a woman of beautiful colors. She spread kindness and color and light wherever she went. And deep love to Ronnie and Natila and their family and all of us who will so deeply miss her.
Thank you, Diane. Lydia, and then after Lydia, Christine, and after Christine, Gail Giese. Lydia, unmute so we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you and to see Brenda's church family, which I know is incredibly important to her. My fondest memory of Brenda is, and I've seen it hundreds of times, she lived on the 3rd floor. I am her neighbor. I lived on the 1st floor, and I could see her as she would come out of her apartment and just literally float with her beautiful hair and her dresses, float down the stairs like an angel. So yes, so full of kindness and just, you couldn't help but smile, couldn't help but smile. So it was an honor and a privilege to be her neighbor and Ronnie's for as long as we had that privilege. I would like to read just one thing that is out of the Bible, 2 Timothy, which is very important to me to read this. So it's in chapter 4. It says, "For I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time of my departure is here. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award me on that day, not only to me, but also all those who have longed for his appearing." Brenda, I love you. I'll miss you, but I will see you one day. And that makes me incredibly happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you. Christine.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm Christine Valeris, and I wrote something for Brenda. I hope I can get through it. Why is it that talented people are the most humble? They are the ones who quietly go about their business. They dazzle us, but they don't feel the need to say out loud what we already know, that they are a gift to be cherished. Brenda was one of these people. I remember when I first saw her. My daughter Anna was taking piano lessons at a music school for children in Boca. Sitting in the waiting room, I watched as she escorted each student to the practice room and then back out again, speaking gently to them and explaining their progress to the parents. Her long, beautiful hair wafted behind her as she'd glide into and out of the room. Her mellifluous voice was soothing, and I felt like I could listen to her talk for hours. She radiated kindness and goodness, and at the recitals, the pieces she chose for her students were interesting and challenging. When Anna's teacher left, we were fortunate to be matched with Brenda. It was exactly my wish and the owner's suggestion. Brenda and Anna clicked immediately. She was kind, yet provided just the right amount of structure and challenged my daughter with difficult pieces that drove her to achieve. The hour flew by for Anna, and I think for Brenda too, as we usually got just a little bit more time than the hour. The real treat was when the teachers would play at the recitals. Immensely talented, Brenda's playing was simply spectacular. I was awestruck. I think we all were. She had a huge repertoire, and her long, elegant fingers seemingly made for the instrument, danced up and down the keyboard. She showed by example what was possible with hard work. but you could tell that she loved the music and her young students. When the music school closed, Brenda was able to keep her students, and we gladly welcomed her into our home for lessons. They say that animals have a sixth sense about people, and our pets loved Brenda. They would gather around during the lessons just to be near her. She was a constant in our lives, and our friendship deepened as my kids grew up. As Anna grew older, Brenda insisted that we find a new teacher, one who worked with only students who were at her advanced level. We were all sad, but we kept in touch. Eventually, Anna went to college as a piano performance major, in large part due to Brenda's influence. Brenda cheered Anna on through virtual performances, and we stayed in contact. We were shocked when we heard that she had an aggressive and advanced form of cancer. How could someone so young and healthy, someone whose idea of a dietary splurge was one piece of pizza, get such an insidious disease? Why would someone so kind, so good, be saddled with this? When she was in remission and at our house visiting one time, she told us of her struggles with brutal honesty and said that she didn't let anything upset her anymore. She knew what was important. She wanted peace. We held out hope that she would be one of the lucky ones who would make it. And she did for a while. I'm sorry. When I heard that she'd passed, I watched her YouTube channel over and over. Her playing was mesmerizing, and her beautiful spirit came through each and every note. She was the embodiment of the music. I felt that she was still with us, but the pain of knowing that we would never see her again was acute and almost too much to comprehend. I have a huge old live oak tree in front of my house. Standing underneath it, it always calms and settles me. It seems to fill the air with some magical, soothing elixir. When the wind blows through its branches, gently brushing the leaves, and the birds that live in the canopy sing, it's like nature's symphony. With every sunrise, the music starts anew for those who stop and pay attention. I think of our beautiful Brenda, a gentle and kind spirit who lives on in every student who fills the world with music, in every friend who remembers to say a kind word of encouragement to someone who needs it, to everyone who shares a gift that makes the world a better place. I'll hold her in my heart forever.
Thank you, Christy. Gail, and then Sugi, and then Mallory. Gail, unmute, would you? There you go. Oh, we still can't hear you. We still can't hear you. We still don't have you, Gail. Oops. Gail, we still don't have you. Let's go to Sugi, and Gail, let's get this figured out and we'll bring you back around, okay? Can't see you.
Hi, everyone. It's really lovely to see that Brenda is so loved by everybody. I am her cousin, her oldest cousin. Her father and my mother were siblings, and I've known, I call her Brenda's mother, Devi Yaka, and she's one of the loveliest people I know. And this is a very sad occasion for all of us. And I'm the oldest cousin of a group of 19, and most of them are on this call from Malaysia and London and all over. And it's just, I can still see her as a little kid, because we all used to get together at my grandmother's house. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful family of little children. And of course, Mom and Nitila, very loving people, and I just miss, I will be missing her a lot, just like we all loved her, and we just hope that and that's just lovely to see that she's going to be living in our hearts, all this group of people here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sugi. Gail, do we have you? Can we hear you now? We still don't have you. We see your G, but we don't hear you. Oh, this is frustrating. Let's move to Mallory, and I think Gail is going out and coming back in. Sometimes that works. Mallory, unmute, please.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, well, there's absolutely nothing that I can say that's any different or any better or more beautiful than the words that others have expressed here today. I did not have much time to know Brenda and to appreciate her. I met her in 2019 when I first came to River of Grass. And I wouldn't say I was a lost soul, but I was very depleted. And the first time that I came to River of Grass, I was just blown away by the beauty of Brenda's piano playing and the way that she would communicate songs, the nuance in her play. And I felt like such a groupie right away. I was just such a fan, and I really, really was dying to have a chance to get to know Brenda much better. Around that time, Brenda was, of course, facing an intensified threat from the cancer, and so she wasn't able to. We weren't able to get together like I had hoped. But I just want to say this. I do believe that there's a source of all. I believe that each and every one of us shine like facets of that source of all. And Brenda, the source of all flowed through her fingers. I mean, radiant, like a polished diamond. And what a figure she cut. People have discussed how graceful she was. She certainly was. You couldn't help not only to listen and not look away and not walk past as she was playing, but just to watch her and to bear witness to her beauty as she carried herself through this world. I'm so sorry, so very sorry for the loss that her loved ones, her mother, her sister, her family, and friends who knew her longer than I are experiencing and will always experience. But what I want to say for myself is the respect that I had for Brenda, and for her eternal soul, I'll always have that respect. And my wishes are for her to transcend beyond, and that she is just in perfection, that she's just a little closer to the perfection that she exuded when she was on Gaia with us, sharing all of her beauty and all of the ways that she did. And I'm just grateful to have had even just met her. And I will so appreciate how she told me whenever I first came to River of Grass, I like it when you sit near the piano because I like to belt it out when we sing songs. And she said, it helps me keep time. And it just the joy that she made me feel during those moments. Thank you for letting me speak. And I send my most sincere condolences to her loved ones. And I hope that peace will be with you in the coming weeks and months. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mallory. I do think we have Gail back now, and then after Gail, we'll have Leanna and then Susan.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I love Brenda. I'm saying it in the present tense because I do feel she's still with us. I met Brenda because Rev Naomi King, back when River of Grass was at Central Park Elementary School, gave me a reference for a substitute pianist. And I called him and he could not come, but he recommended Brenda. And so she began to substitute for me as the pianist at River of Grass. And I think we all fell in love with her immediately. She was a wonderful pianist. She was always so prepared. She was always so kind to everyone. I never heard an unkind word from her about anyone, no matter what she was going through. And so strong and brave, you know, when she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, ovarian cancer, it was astounding to me how courageous she was. We played piano duets. Unfortunately, that was something we came to maybe just a year or two before her cancer came. So we didn't get to play as many as we would have liked, but we both really loved that. And I loved her sense of humor. We would go through the hymnal sometimes and talk about the hymns that we really could not stand. Sorry, Rev Amy. But there was one that just, the accompaniment in the hymnal was just god awful. Enter, rejoice, and come in. So eventually we both figured out how to change that, but I liked her version. She would make it kind of jazzy, and it was just wonderful. But we would laugh about how much we hated that. And every time it was on the order of service, we would wink at each other. She was just pure light. And I think it was only a day after she died. I had not played in months, and I sat down to play. And when I sat down, I was not thinking about her. And all of a sudden, it was like she was there with me. And she said, "You go, girl." So thank you to all of you who have spoken about Brenda. It's so beautiful that she touched so many lives. And so many of you I did not already know. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Gail. Leanna?
Thank you, Rev Amy. Can you hear me okay? I'm talking to you all from Washington, D.C. area, Virginia. I'm up here taking care of my grandson while our daughter is in Germany taking care of Afghan refugees. So I miss you all. And I really can't say anything that hasn't already been said, but I just want to tell Ronnie and Natila and her and Brenda's family how much we all love them, how much Brenda touched all of our lives, which I think has been so obvious by what has already been said. You know, we have the grand piano in our living room. And I often thought that we should invite Brenda over to play in our living room, and what a joy that would have been for us, and perhaps as part of one of our worship services. And I'm so sorry that COVID interfered in the way that it did, that we lost time with Brenda. I was privileged to be close to Brenda when she first found out that she had cancer, and when she was trying to decide what course to take, whether to follow the doctor's guidance on taking treatments or whether to go a different path. And because we were struggling through that with our dear friend Maria at the time, they were very close, as many of you might know. They admired each other so much. And then when they both suffered from cancer, stage 4 cancer at the same time, they had that to share. They provided each other with mutual support. And I was just always so moved by Brenda's bravery and her just equanimity in a way that she faced what she had to face with so much bravery. I admired her so much. I will miss her. We will all miss her beautiful, beautiful music that just enchanted. It just provided so much beauty to all of our worship services. And to Ronnie, I just want to say that having lived through a loss recently, Maria is always with us. Brenda will always be with us, and in a way even closer than ever before, because she's with us always in our hearts. And so we're here for you, Ronnie. We love you. And I am so grateful to have known Brenda and to know Brenda and to know you. So all my love from up here in Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanna. Susan?
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say that I join in with what everybody else has already said. Can't really add to that. But although I originally started talking to Brenda about music, and she introduced me to some wonderful composers and pieces that I'd never heard of before, what I really enjoyed was her interaction with Ronnie and how they loved each other and supported each other and were always together. Ronnie, I know you're going to be returning to Malaysia. We will miss you too, just as we miss Brenda so much. So thank you. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you, Susan. We have Kathy and Steve, and then Rita, and then we will move to share tributes that have been shared in the chat.
Well, as Mallory said, I don't think I could add anything more beautifully than what has been said. But two things occurred to me as I was listening to people. Is one of Brenda's talents that just totally amazed me, besides her perfection in music, was when I was putting together a service, I'd say, Brenda, here's the theme. And she would come up with the perfect pieces to play, to include in and incorporate the theme perfectly. It just was a wonderful thing to add to our River of Grass services. And the other thing I remember when Ronnie visited a couple of times, and then Brenda's joy when Ronnie came to live with her was remarkable, and just so happy for her that her mother could join her. And we were so happy to welcome Ronnie into our community as well. We will miss them both. Ronnie, we love you. We're with you.
Thank you, Kathy. Rita?
Well, as worship chair at River of Grass, I got to know Brenda very well. She helped our lay leaders and our visiting people who needed her expertise to find the right music and the right sense of what that Sunday morning meant to them as they gave their passionate messages. And as a worship leader myself, when I first did my first service, and Brenda was my musician, she just made me feel so at ease and like I had been there forever. So that was, I think, her gift. She just made us all feel like we all knew each other and we were together like a family. And she was the one that kind of glued that musical connection. I'll miss her, and I'm so pleased to have known her and gotten to know Ronnie. I have her beautiful jewelry that she's shared and got to meet Nithya. So bless you all, and she will never be far from our hearts.
Thank you, Rita. Some of you have written tributes in the chat. From Carolyn, we are celebrating the grace, beauty, and the harmony of the glorious spirit of radiant Brenda. Scott says, Brenda's bright light continues to shine in each of us. I'm a better person for having known her. She's a gift to the world. Mary Lisa says, Brenda was my daughter Shani's piano teacher before she came to River of Grass. She was always patient, kind, and encouraging with Shani, as she was special needs and required much. We loved her very much. Lucy says, Diane, yes, that's what always struck me about Brenda, that she radiated kindness at all times, even when her health was a major concern. Zena and Rick Tucker send love and gratitude for the privilege of knowing Brenda. Linda Lathram sends love to Ronnie and Nithya. Linda says, I was so privileged to have known Brenda. She was a beautiful, radiant soul. Her beautiful smile, her kindness, her generosity. Brenda, Ronnie, Nithya, you are and will always be part of our River of Grass family. Brenda, you will always live in my heart. Dr. Kitty Oliver says, Brenda touched us deeply with her warmth and beautiful spirit. Art and Kitty send love and blessings to Ronnie and family. Sakti says, Brun Aka. David and Elise say, David and I send love to Ronnie and her family. Brenda touched our lives. Sakti again says, wherever you are, you will still be a shining star, looking after Parimama and Nithya Aka. Daphne, Brenda's sister Nithya is my good friend from our secondary school days. We used to live 2 roads away in SS3. I remember Brenda when I used to visit their home. I remember her playing the piano at the Hilton. She played so well. She will be missed. Thinking of you, Nithya, and Auntie Ronnie. Love you. And we have a hand raised from Mohan. Mohan, please unmute.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Mohan. I'm speaking to you from New Orleans. I want to apologize because there is a crew out there removing all the hurricane debris. So if you hear some loud noises, that's what it is. But I'm a childhood friend of Brenda, Auntie, and Nithya. We grew up in the same neighborhood. My mom and Auntie were teachers together. They were elementary school teachers, and they were really good friends. And I do have some wonderful childhood memories from that time period. The most magical one that I can remember, that goes to crew, I'm sorry. The magical one that I can remember is that, there was a time where we went to the house in the middle of the night because her dad had set up a telescope. I think he was also an amateur astronomer. And it was possible at that point to be able to see Saturn, and we were able to, I don't know, it must have been like 3 a.m. in the morning or something like that, but it was very exciting. We got up middle of the night, we went over to their house and we got to see Saturn, in the telescope on the balcony. And that's a very special, magical memory. Excuse me. So, I got back in touch with Brenda, maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe not even a couple of years ago. She kind of reached out of the blue through Facebook. And initially I did not recognize who she was. It's been years and years and years. And, our mothers have also had also lost touch. And we were able to reconnect, and it was a nice Facebook friendship. And she was incredibly kind, as everyone has attested, including, she would show up for my kids' piano recitals on our Zoom concerts when we moved into the online world after COVID. And that was so touching for me that she would show up. So, I did not realize that she was ill, and she did not let it be known. So it was quite a shock when we got the news. But Auntie Nathila, we sent our love, and I'm glad that we are back in touch.
Thank you, Mohan. As we have poured our memories into this moment, we'll pause in music to reflect on this love for and from Brenda that binds us to her and to one another in this moment in her memory. A particularly precious memory of mine with Brenda was the first Sunday not the first Sunday we were working together and serving together, but the first Sunday I remember that she, in her warm-up, played a particular Chopin etude. But it wasn't just any Chopin etude. The piece she played had been a favorite of my own father, who was himself a concert pianist, and he left this earth a long time ago. And I was just going about my business, getting ready, and she began to play, and my heart burst open. And ever kind as she was, when she saw my tears, she was so worried that she had made a mistake. But I quickly assured her that she had actually given me such a great gift in that moment. And from that time on, across the years of our service at River of Grass, she would play that piece over and over as we both prepared our hearts and hands and spirits to serve our beloved River of Grass. And so at this moment, we would like to bring you Brenda playing Chopin. They that love beyond the world cannot be separated by it. Death cannot kill what never dies, nor can spirits ever be divided in that love that live in divine principle. Death is but crossing the world unseen. We live for one another still. This is our comfort, that though one may be said to die, their lives are, in the best sense, immortal, because they are present in our hearts forever. You gathered here today are a living tribute to love, the love Brenda both gave us and inspired in us that we will carry in our hearts forever. We will proceed from this place assured that even in this time of inexpressible loss and sorrow, at the root, life yet remains precious and good. May we rekindle in ourselves a greater appreciation for the gift of life and the treasure of those who share it with us. May we love more nobly, more kindly, more gracefully in the days ahead, as Brenda did. Assured that even broken hearts bring light to this world. As we return to the routines of our lives, may we go in love, and may abiding peace go with us. As we close with these words of the poet Claire Hamer: do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond's glint on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. I love that video. I love Brenda. I love Gabriel Kitty too. We're going to open hospitality here for a moment so we can greet Natila and Ronnie and one another. We'll share a few moments of greetings before we proceed into our lives, carrying the love of Brenda and for Brenda in our hearts. Shine on. Okay, everybody switch to gallery so we can see one another. Hi, everyone.
I'll get down. I think it's up at the upper right. It's like a whole bunch of boxes together, like 4 boxes together.
Just says view. Press escape or double click the full screen mode.
Hello, Georgette and Ed. We can hear you beautifully, and it's lovely to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all who did the service today and the beautiful honoring of Brenda, and wishing well to all.
I finally got gallery. I couldn't get it. Now I see everyone.
It's a beautiful gathering, beautiful faces, windows into one another's worlds from all over the planet. Brenda's happy about all this.
It's good to see you all.
I particularly like seeing Gail. So nice to see you, Gail.
Good to see everybody.
Yes, yes. Thank you everyone for participating in today's memorial service for Brenda and talking nice things and having living memories of her. Really, really appreciate for all of you who participated and who took time to be with us today. Thank you.
Ronnie, you're going to really be missed when you leave back. I hope that you'll zoom in with us from Malaysia too, because you're going to be.
Yes, we will. Yes, yes, I will. Definitely. I cannot never ever forget you all. Ronnie, it was lovely to see when you were young and Brenda was young, all of the pictures of her as a child. Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad we kept all those photos in our album all this while.
And I really I loved this last video with the cat. And my cat, I tell you, my cat came out when she heard Brenda playing. So my cat came out to come sit with me when she heard that. So she was feeling the music and the cat as well.
Yes, and the cat is so fond of Brenda's music. He will always be there next to her when she practices.
I would like to say it's just wonderful to see so many people here from all over the world, and such a joy to have her family and friends join us besides our River of Grass community, and those from our river who have moved away, like Margie and Esther and Rick and Zena, who also remember Brenda very fondly. So it's just been a wonderful service, and thank you everyone who participated.
And now we're going to have Ronnie coming in from Malaysia, and we're going to have Natila coming in from Australia. So we are really going to be worldwide.
Yes.
The music was just beautiful as always. It was just so special to see Brenda again. And I loved the last video. It made me laugh and cry at the same time. Just beautiful. And Brenda's patience. She never knocked Gabrielle down or took it away. She just did what she had to do to keep the music going. I just loved that.
She did that with more than cats, you know.
Yes. Being in the choir, I know that about Brenda. I can't wait till we can sing together again.
Yes.
I love you, Ronnie.
And we love you, Leah. Thank you. Precious ones, your faces are so beautiful in these windows. Thank you for honoring Brenda today, for honoring Ronnie and Tila and all who love Brenda, who love her still, and her music will remain with us forever. And thanks to this technology, we can keep her music with us from now on. Our Sunday services are full of Brenda's music already, and they will remain so. We thank you for gathering with us today. We ask that you go blessed and living a more noble and kind life in Brenda's memory as she would have it, and that you laugh and that you pick up a stray kitten and dare to take it home and play music for it, and play music for everyone else, the music of your heart, even if you don't play an instrument. Brenda was very good at finding the music in people's hearts and bringing it out for the world to see and hear. We love you all. Go in peace. Go making peace. Go being peace. Shine on.